finally got around to it. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. And today I'm actually going to make a password book. And we're going to use a Dori style. Now, the ingredients, the dye that bigz with a Z dye that I used is in the description below, along with a list of other ingredients. So I'm using this vinyl that I got as a gift from my friend Alice. Y'all know Alice. And she actually gave it to me quite a while back. You know, might have even been pre-COVID. I don't know. So it is a thin, lightweight vinyl fabric-y stuff. And because it was so lightweight, I thought, I might ought to add a little bit of stiffening to this because it's going to be a Dori style. And Dori style is typically when you have elastic cordage of some sort that holds your signatures in. There's very, you know, you can change your signatures and everything. It's so easy. Anyway, so I'm going to use a piece of faux chipboard, which would be a packaging box. You saw what it was. I'm not going to say it out loud. Jeez. Anyway, macaroni. I'm also using some cardstock. And I can't remember how the length of this Dori dye. But anyway, I'm using two different pieces of cardstock, so it was obviously longer than 11.5 inches. I don't know, y'all. I really don't. I should have measured it, but I didn't. So I've cut that to more or less fit. Also, I'm matching the holes up. It's a big deal because, you know, you want your holes to match up because that's where your elastic cord's going to go in. And I'm using FabricTac to stick everything down, and truthfully I'm not so sure that the vinyl stuff was that happy with getting FabricTac on it. If I was to do this again, I might just go ahead and use my Elaine's Original Tacky Glue, which is my favorite. So anyway, there's a couple things I would do a little bit different. For instance, I'm going to add another piece of cardstock almost across the whole thing again. And it really makes it just a little too stiff. I went from flippy floppy to maybe a little too stiff, okay? So one piece of cardstock, I would probably use a 12 by 12. I would line it again with cardstock. I don't know that you necessarily need to add that much sturdiness where the spine's going to be, but I don't know. I might. See, here's a whole nother piece. And again, I'm lining the holes up. Okay. And again, I'm real sure go ahead and use the FabricTac again because it's what I have out right now. So the video is sped up. It is not in hyperspeed. It's a little slower than normal. I don't know if you noticed it, but it is. However, should you wish to speed it up, okay, find, depending on your device, your settings, your little gear, your cog, whatever it is. Some televisions, if you're watching YouTube on television, some of those, you have the option to speed it up. Some of them you don't. You know, it's just how it goes. My voice will change with the speed you set me at. You could slow it down also if you really wanted to. Let's see. I have decided I'm going to go ahead and make some paper clips. Well, you know, I probably have some paper clips, altered paper clips. Art and paper clips to put in here to hold little slips of paper, because sometimes you write passwords on little slips of paper because you're like, I don't have my book, so you write it on a little slip of paper and you can just put it in your book later, and you know, stuff like that. So I was squeezing around to kind of get my little edges in there a little bit, and of course we're using our little wooden brayer, which is actually a kitchen tool, but whatever, no matter. And I've decided I'm going to use the ruler to help me ease in this part, which is the die cuts, well, it didn't cut, it adds some scar marks. Actually, in this case, it did cut my vinyl a little bit in a couple places. I don't know. So be careful of that. I've had this die for a while. I've used it before, but I've not used it too much. Well, not enough, I guess I should say. Not too much. Anyway, so we're just kind of making some folds where it's going to be folding. And because this one has 2 layers of cardstock, all right, it's a little tougher to fold, but that's you know, it will soften up over time the more you open and close it and wiggle it around and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, yeah. And I don't know if you can see that right there is where it the die actually cut my little vinyl, but that's okay. It's still stuck down just fine. And I think I will actually put a little bit of glue on there just you know, because. Now there are different ways to thread these up. I'm not that threadable kind of person. I'm going the easy way. I'm going through 2 of them. So I got the 2 loops on the outside and the 2 long strings on the inside to slip my signatures through 2 signatures to. And and that's just a sample signature. We're gonna put it in there. Yep. That's how it's mostly gonna look. Mostly. And here are my computer printed pages. I obviously just said computer printed. I set up what I wanted to print and figured out my little measurements and all that stuff. And for this particular Dori die cut, my signatures can be 4.5 inches tall, and when I fold the signature in half, well, the page in half, that's more than 1 page. Anyway, I cut it to 3 3/4, which makes a total overall width of your folio sheets at 7.5. Going? Okay. I decided I'm going to round the corners because evidently I'm feeling fancy. Not fancy enough to ink anything. But I did go over to the sewing machine and sewed around it. So now we're going to put a closure on, and there's a specific way. Now Shannon Green's excellent at threading up these kind of things because, you know, she has a whole business set up around doing way cool journals and folders and whatnots with vinyl billboards. Just saying. I'll try to put a link to her channel below, okay? Shannon Green. Oh, it's by Shannon Green. Anyway, that's her channel. So BY Shannon Green. Okay, like the color. And so we're using a little tiny eyelet because that's what I have a bunch of, and it was red, and I thought, yeah, that's perfect. So here's my elastic cord. As you can see, I put my other elastic cords in there for the spine, and we're just going to wrap this around. I could have cut it just a little bit shorter because you actually want your elastic string to have a bit of firmness to it, not overly much, just some. You'll figure it out once you play around with Doris, or you probably already used one, I don't know. And this is small. It's probably considered a purse size. And IDK, don't carry a journal in my purse. I got too much other crap in there. So I thought, I'm going to put pockets because y'all know I like my pockets. So I'm going to fiddle around with my piece of vinyl fabric. And I'm going to use my pencil. Well, we're going to use the ruler. Oh, goodness, we're in trouble now. I'm going to write it down, which is the same measurement, basically, as my, you know, signature kind of thing. But the first pocket I'm going to put in there is going to have a curve on it, and you'll see me play around with that. And then I decided to do a second pocket. And in reality, a third pocket would have been nice too. But I didn't do it, and it's okay. I'm thinking about, like I said, I'm thinking about, you know, making some altered paper clips just to hold little slips of paper in there. But I'm not going to put the other pocket on there because, you know, I pretty much consider this a done deal. I seldom, if ever, go back and do stuff to things I've already made. I wouldn't say never, just seldom. So I'm trying to remember that's going to be the front. So this is the back part. See, I'm trying to, my pencil just doesn't want to go. Doesn't want to slide across there because it is a fabric-y type stuff. So it's a little fuzzy-ish on the back. So I'm going to get a pin any day now. There it comes. And just going to pin that in. And it doesn't, and there are some light colored lines on the back side to help you, you know, cut things straight. Keep it straight. Straight thoughts. Huh. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good right there. Straight thoughts. Almost or straight-ish. Okay. This is where I thought, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and put another pocket here, which is the back part of the cover. The piece that's got the closure on it, the closure cord, I would not put a pocket on that per se. So here we go. We're going to measure-ish out. You know, even though I'm using a ruler doesn't mean it's necessarily correct. Okay? Okay. So, using a pen. It's on the back side. Won't never see it. Cutting sideways, which is always a dangerous thing to do because chances are it's not going to be straight. Well, chances are it's not going to be straight anyway. So, I mean, if I was using my rotary fabric cutter, it would be straight. And my rotary fabric ruler things, it'd be straight. Just not today. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty okay, good. I don't know if it's upside down or not. Don't no matter. I'm like, I want it just a little shorter. Now we're going to put a thumb notch in it, okay? And as I was cutting the thumb notch, I thought, you know, this is pretty flippy floppy. I don't know how well it would actually hold anything because it's I shouldn't say flippy floppy, although it's soft. So that's where I thought, well, we'll just put some cardstock on the back of that. Now, here's what I would do different, because I would probably make another one of these, is I would add, because I'm going to sew around the pockets before I adhere them to my Dori, okay? I would add the cardstock after I sewed around it, because it's just for decoration. Just fur. Fur is a real word. It means for. And if you notice, majority of people say fur. I'm going for it. Okay? They don't actually pronounce the word for. Some people might. Most don't. Anyway, just, you know, just me chattering. Okay, more of the FabricTac. Even though now I think, you know, at this time I had already determined, I don't think the vinyl kind of liked it too much. Just saying. It's an acetone type glue. Just saying. So, trimming off the cardstock, and then when I get all that trimmed it off, I will go sew around it. I didn't film sewing machine. It's pretty hard to film sewing machine. Although Nancy, Sewing with Nancy, y'all remember her? God bless her heart. May she rest in peace. She did. She sewed all the time. You know, that's what Sewing with Nancy was about. Loved her. Anyway, here we go. Got it all sewed up. As you can see, my sewing machine did that. Oh, I'm not happy sewing this kind of stuff because of the cardstock mostly. So next time I will sew around my pockets first, then add the cardstock, because you're not going to see it anyway. It's just to help strengthen that particular edge of it. All right? All right. Gluing it on, putting my acrylic block on top just to help weight it down, because the threads will kind of make a little weird bumpiness to it, gluing it down. Here comes another acrylic block and weight on it. So I thought, I'm going to put some tabs on here, because the problem with my existing password book is I just put a password on a page. Okay, this one I want to try to do an ABC kind of thing, you know, your website that you're saving your password for, which is ridiculous to have to write this stuff down. But you do, because every place you go has its own passwords. They sometimes have user IDs, and you might not remember what user ID you used with it. You might not remember what email you associated with it. So, you know, it's just this whole conglomerate of stuff. And sometimes your computer will remember these passwords, and sometimes your computer's like, nope, don't remember that one. You didn't let me remember it. So we just added some tabs. Yeah, they're not necessarily sticky outy tabs, but that's okay. It's just like whatever. So here it is, getting ready. I know, shorter-ish kind of video. Flip-flop time. I happen to have a charm laying on my desk, so I thought, well, we will just put that on there because we want to. There we go. That's how it looks. Isn't that is really pretty vinyl fabric? Thanks again, Alice. See, that front cover there would have been a good place for a pocket too. So here is a pocket. Here's our little pages. We can trade them out. We can put blank sheets in there, whatever we want to do. And I just put some blank pieces of paper in there for that. And of course the inside is cardstock, so we could write on that stuff too. There we go. Makes me happy. Ta-da! Photo montage. Yeah. How fun is that? And you could actually string another, put another elastic cord on there to even get 2 more places to slide your signatures. Just saying. It's very obvious. List of ingredients is in the description box below that will tell you exactly what the dye is. Because off the top of my head, I don't know. It's a Sizzix dye, you know. There we go. Nice. Makes me happy. My husband was like, yay, you get to transfer all our passwords. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.